Welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor and today we'll be doing my summer book recs for summer 2025. I realized that I never did a dedicated full-length video to summer book recs, so you may see some ones that I've talked about a lot and some new ones to the list. But before we hop into the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you love all things books. So if you are looking for a lot of queer book recs in this video, there are some. Obviously, this is me, this is my channel, but I will do a full dedicated Pride Month queer book recs videos and shorts coming in June. So if you're looking for mostly queer summer book recs, those will be coming next month. But I've got a long list here of books to talk about. I've divided it up into my young adult book recs, my new adult book recs, and my adult book recs. Pretty much, I think actually all of them are romances. There is one that has like a sci-fi fantasy spin to it, but it is the summer months, and while I am reading more fantasy, I just feel like fantasy really just lends itself better to the fall and winter months. If you'd like me to do a video dedicated to summer fantasy recs, just let me know. So without further ado, let's hop into the book recs. We are starting with YA romances. So first off is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, which is Talia Hibbert's YA debut. You probably know her from all of her very popular adult romances, specifically the Brown Sisters trilogy, which I have also read and loved. I'm currently going through the rest of her backlist. But this YA novel follows Celine and Brad. They used to be childhood friends, but when high school rolled around, or the UK equivalent of what high school is, they started to separate into different crowds, with Celine feeling like she was kind of ostracized into the weirdo crowd, and Brad entering the popular crowd. But when Celine goes out for the Catherine Breakspere program, which is like a wildlife, outdoorsy, like competition program to compete for a scholarship and recognition from the famous Catherine Breakspere, aka her idol, she is joined by Brad, who realizes that he might need some money. And of course, a little forced proximity and all the situations they're put into leads to romance. And in this one, we have a bisexual male main character who also has OCD. So we have mental health rep as well. This one is very fun. It's very cutesy. You know, the outdoorsy environment really, I think, lends itself to summer, because I feel like of all the times of year where you're going to be going out and exploring, like national parks, mountains, hiking, and so on and so forth, feels like that's the time, and that's why I recommend it for summer. But hey, I also love a little more bisexual male rep out there. Next up, we have Cool for the Summer by Dahlia Adler, and this is based on the Demi Lovato song of the same name, and it does play a major role in the storyline itself. So in this one, we are following Dahlia, who's had a crush or a thing for the like high school it boy Chase Harding pretty much all her life. But when she returns to school senior year, she's struggling for feelings for the girl that she fell in love with / had a summer fling with, Jasmine. And fun fact, Jasmine just happened to transfer to Laura's school, and you know, things go from there. It's a little back and forth love triangle-esque situation, and we have Laura discovering her bisexuality. This is a fun, short, quick read, obviously, if you're looking for something, and it's YA, and we couldn't do summer book recs without a summer road trip book rec, and I just see that the lighting is going to get even worse throughout the day, so please ignore that one. This is by Jenna Voris, and it's Every Time You Hear That Song. We are following a dual perspective. First, in present day, we're following Darren, who is the daughter of a mother who is currently possibly maybe relapsing from a previous cancer diagnosis and may be in need of money. But when their favorite country star of all time, Deckley Castle, passes away and issues a challenge to all fans to go on this major like scavenger hunt to find the final album and win some money, Darren can't pass up the opportunity. So she joins the trip with her friend Kendall, aka / her co-worker, and they basically travel throughout the South to find all of the hidden clues. And while we're also following them, we're following Deckley's life as she's coming up in the 60s and 70s as a country artist and, you know, leading a hidden life as a queer woman. This book, oh, it makes you feel all the feels. We have one bisexual representation and one lesbian representation, and there's a lot of things to digest. But if you want to think like southern hot summer, like summer road trip vibes, like right before the school year starts, or like right before like August and September pick up, this one's for you. Also, for my music lovers, I'm really in a music themed book era, and I'm reading a book right now that is very much so music themed, so very excited, but highly recommend, 5-star read. Then we have an OG classic, a 5-star read of mine that like captured my heart when I read it, and given that the themes of grief are very strong in this one, it's very relevant to my current state of life. But that is A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow by Laura Taylor Namey. I know that a sequel has been released to this one. I haven't read it, but I am excited to pick it up when I get around to it. But this one's a classic. I also do believe the movie's still going. Not sure when that's coming, but when it comes out, you know I will be sat and ready to watch. This one is following Lila, I think it's Lila Reyes, who recently has gone through a very, very heavy loss in many parts of her life, but particularly with the loss of her very much so beloved grandmother. So one day she basically runs herself ragged and her family starts to worry about her, so they send her off to spend the summer after her senior year with her family in, I think, well, I'm not sure if it's London, but in the UK. And while she is there working at the bed and breakfast and getting acquainted with her new London life, which she's not necessarily happy about being there, she runs into Orion Maxwell and his friends. And they sort of, share their mutual grief with each other, but also Orion helps her find the beauty in life and change. And man, oh man, I love Orion Maxwell. Favorite like top YA book boyfriends, and the fact that he is played by the same actor who plays Nick Nelson in Heartstopper, another great summer book series, just makes him all the more, favorite. Also, if you're a foodie, Lila talks a lot about her Cuban cooking. She is a chef, she is a baker, so if you're foodie, obviously this one's for you. And I mean, we open up with a little picnic. What gets more summery than that? Next up, we're moving on to our new adult book recs. So the YA book recs are technically generally targeted towards high school age, 14 to 18. These are your college age or college age characters, so 18 to 22, sort of like early 20s range. And we're kicking it off with an OG, a classic, one of my favorite books of all time, and there is a movie to go along with it, Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Now, I haven't read any of their other work, but this one is a banger. Like the movie, not a great adaptation of this, but it is a comfort movie. When it comes to adaptations, I'm not necessarily as picky as other people are, which I've seen very recently on the internet, but that's another topic. In this one, you are following Alex Claremont Diaz, the son of the President of the U.S., and he and the second in line to the throne, Prince Henry, have a little debacle, little snafu at the royal wedding, forcing them to have to essentially do a PR makeup situation where they are forced to act as friends in the public, and therefore they're working together in a lot of situations. A little forced proximity, a little rivals to lover situation, and one night that culminates in them kind of realizing they have feelings for each other, while also navigating being queer in the public eye and what that means for their two different countries if that were to come out. It's long, it's spicy, it's fun. I personally, one of my favorite tropes ever, and I feel like a lot of people talk about that, is like love letters, and this one you have like emails. And honestly, I have thought about getting a tattoo from this book, and that's the History tattoo. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens, but it's one of my all-time favorite books, and I don't think I've ever given it a dedicated summer book rec video, so it needed to be here. Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the second book in the Maple Hills series, but it is a series of interconnected standalones. So technically you can read them out of order, but I do recommend reading all of them in order just because that's the human that I am. But this one is a college hockey romance following Russ and Aurora, but what makes it a little different is it's following their time as summer camp counselors. So Russ and Aurora meet one night at the end of semester, like college party, and they have a little bit of a one-night stand, and then they go their separate ways thinking they're not going to see each other, only to find out they both volunteer to be camp counselors at the same summer camp. And the only rule of that summer camp is really there's no fraternization between co-workers, and that's a little problem because they start to realize that they have feelings with each other, and of course they start to fraternize. So it goes. I love Hannah Grace books because she is an author who does communication between couples so well. Like her book boyfriends are so green flag coded. Like they just learn how to communicate so well, and like their growth and stuff like that. Every Hannah Grace book does deal with representations of mental health issues and mental health crises, so do keep that in mind. But if you're looking for spicy college romance with a little summer camp twist, this one's for you. Now we've moved into the adult romances. These are all relatively spicy, if you're looking for that vibe. So starting up, the only one that's not strictly true romance, it's an alien romance. So a little sci-fi elements in that. And this is the new release from Kimberly Lemming. I got abducted by aliens and now I'm trapped in a rom-com. It is listed as what I choose, but I'd venture to say it's a little more polyamorous, so it's really up to your interpretation. So in this one, we are following Dorothy Valentine, who is in the process of getting her PhD in, I think, wildlife biology or something of the sort. But one day when she's out in the Sahara Desert, she basically almost gets killed by a lion attack. But halt! An alien beams her up in the middle of the lion attack to save her life. And when she wakes up, she finds herself on an alien spaceship. Then she finds herself crash landing on an alien planet. And, you know, a lot of romance ensues from there between her and the two alien men that she runs into along the way. You know what? This is absurd, super spicy, kind of out of left field. Not my favorite Kimberly Lemming book, but if you want something short, quick, and just like a wild, interesting ride, this one's for you. Another book that's a part of an interconnected standalone series, it's Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This is the third book in the Love Light Farms series. All the Love Light Farms books take place during different seasons, and this is the summer season. So in this one, you are following Layla and Caleb. Layla is the owner of the bakery on Love Light Farms, and Caleb has had a crush on her pretty much since he first laid eyes on her when she entered town. Although Layla is kind of oblivious to that because all she thinks is no matter what, she just kind of sucks at love and she just has terrible luck. But when Layla has one bad date and she is rescued by Caleb, he offers to give her dating lessons. So they started this sort of fake dating and dating lesson situation, sort of no strings attached, but also still romantic strings attached, where Caleb is in love with her already and Layla is falling in love with him. And all I know is, Caleb, the man that you are. The spy scenes in B.K. Borison books are some of the best spy scenes that you can get out of contemporary romance. And I'm about to talk about a book that is super steamy, so high praise for me. This was a 5-star read. I don't know if this one or the last book in the series is my favorite, but Caleb Alvarez, is it Alvarez? Yeah, Caleb Alvarez, I got that name correct, is up there with top book boyfriends of all time. We couldn't give summer book recs without talking about one of my latest 5-star reads that happens to be probably one of the steamiest contemporary romances that I've ever read. Now, I read a lot of like monster romances and some things that can take you into the very kinky, interesting area, but this one, if you want straight steam, like the passion is there. Like, Rome loves his woman. But that's technically not all the reason why I picked that one. So in this one, you are following Dr. Janelle Cross, who is currently on a vacation / wedding in Tulum, Mexico over the summer. The only catch is that the wedding that she's attending is for her sister, who's marrying her ex-boyfriend. So while they are there, they have sort of a week to themselves, the early wedding party. She bumps into Rome, the best man, the best friend of her ex, aka the fiance, and Rome's had a thing for her since he first laid eyes on Janelle, and he proposes an only for the week sort of friends with benefits situation, and of course, only for the week doesn't last just 1 week. Rome worships this girl. I love that there's no third act breakup. Well, you'll figure it out. There's a sort of like, there's 2 parts of this, so you kind of get it, but in terms of like a third act breakup, I wouldn't consider there to be a third act breakup. But listen, this man is rich. He likes to spend his money on her. And we also have Janelle sort of just like exploring her family dynamics in this, and the way it ends with her relationship to her mother and her sister. Absolutely love. Again, another top book. Rome may be, I don't know if he's number 1. There's another adult romance like book boyfriend, because I kind of have to divide them up into genres anymore, who might take over him, but he might be number 1. So I'm not sure, but this 5-star read, probably one of the best books I've read this year. I think natural lighting has pretty much all but disappeared behind the clouds of the rain that is about to come, so you might get some rainy ambiance in a minute. But these last 2 books are both a part of interconnected standalone series, so obviously I recommend reading them in order, but you don't necessarily have to. We have Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is a single daddy ex-nanny romance, and you're following Cade and Willa. So Cade is the oldest of the Eaton brothers. He essentially is in charge of the family farm. And over the summer, because of a situation with his ex-wife or so on and so forth, he kind of needs someone to help come in and raise or watch over his kid. So Summer, the FMC from the first book, offers up her friend Willa through a bit of a lie. She basically says that she's just good with like rowdy men, rowdy kids, even though she is just a bartender. You know, she's got a lot to her. So Willa comes in, and she and Cade don't initially see eye to eye after a first weird encounter, but they grow to really like each other and eventually love each other over the span of the book as he sees her interacting with his kid, and they get to know each other. And all I'm going to say is I love me a feisty redhead, and that is Willa Nash. This one is also age gap, so do keep that in mind. But like Elsie Silver does, she does spicy books, she does Western cowboy-esque romances, and if you like a single dad ex-nanny, this one's for you. This last book that I'm going to talk about is also single dad ex-nanny small town situation, and I do believe they also live on what is going to grow into a nice little farm. I didn't mean to do that, but also, like, here's two different options if you're looking for that trope or that vibe. I am talking about Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. This is the second book in the Lakefront Billionaire series, and you're following Rafa and Ellie. Ellie is the live-in nanny for Rafa, watching after his son, but one day when something goes awry and Rafa's like, actually, I don't want you to be my nanny, she kind of leaves and just goes on and tries to figure out what she wants to do with her life. And then Rafa's like, actually, I kind of overreacted. Can you come back? And Ellie's like, you gotta prove yourself. And of course, then a lot of things go down and so on and so forth. There's a summer vacation. They start talking to each other. They start to learn a little bit about each other and learn about each other's trauma. And all of that sort of comes together. And of course, Ellie's had a crush on Rafa, like the older, like football sports star. Is it soccer star? I can't remember what he played since high school, so that comes about. This one is very cute. It's very sweet, but it also deals with a lot of heavy topics, particularly talking about self-harm. So do keep that in mind when reading it. But if you're looking for something cutesy that also has a music through line, this one is it. However, this one is not a quick read. So if you're looking for quick reads, probably don't put this one at the top of the list. And those are all the books on my summer book racks for 2025. Let me know what you plan on reading this summer season, because I have a long list of books that I have to get through, but also I have a very extensive Pride TBR to try and work through, because you can never have enough Pride books, in my opinion. And I'll see y'all in the next one.